let's do this. Here we go again, right? You know, I'm actually thinking about changing my channel name to Rufus Rants. What do you guys think? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to respond to a couple of idiots who have piled on me in a comment section on somebody else's video. Now, I'm not going to tell you what the video is or where it is, because it's not important, and I don't want to add or detract from that person and their channel. I just want to respond to a couple of morons who have been piling on me. So in the video that I watched, the person said, among other things, that they contracted Rona, and so did some of their family. And it wasn't really part of their video, but it was just sort of an add-on. And I got my big mouth with my thumb buttons, and I said, no, you did not. As of July 13th, the CDC says in this document that no quantified viral isolates are currently available. So they don't have it, which means that the tests are bogus, 100% bogus. They don't have it. They don't have the virus. They don't have it isolated. And if they don't have an isolated virus, they don't have the DNA of the virus, which means that 100% of the tests are bogus. And I said, I'm not saying you didn't get sick, and I'm glad you're well, but no. And then a bunch of people piled on, and I was outside working, and I was on my phone, and I don't know why, but I can't like grab links and use my phone to do it that way. So I said, you assholes are going to eat shit in about an hour when I get on my computer. I'll get you the link. And I did. And very quickly, they piled on again, and I'm going to respond now. You ready? Ready? All right. One guy says, oh, it's interesting, and I'm going to paraphrase. It's interesting how, you know, people take things out of context, or they cherry pick, or he said something very much like that. Well, to you, big boy, I gave you the link. Presumably you know how to read, so go read it and tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I cherry picked. They said, and I quote, on page 39, since no quantified viral isolates are currently available. Now that was July 13th. Now admittedly, this is late October. It's almost like we're 2-3 days away from Thanksgiving. So somebody else piled on, and he said, oh, why don't you go get some updated information? Updated information. That's a really good point. Except the CDC, are you telling me that the FDA who published this document and the CDC whose document it is, you telling me that they don't have the ability to update their own information? That they can't go back and say, oh, here it is, we found it. Somebody isolated it, and here it is, here's the info. Really? Let's not forget where the burden of proof lies. If you're the one of the people who say that there is a thing, in this case, a new virus, you made the positive claim. You know where the burden of proof lies? On you, buddy. On you. If I said there's a purple unicorn in my backyard, it's not your job to disprove me. It's my job to prove my claim. So prove it. Go find the fucking study. Go find where they isolated the virus. Show it to me. And by the way, don't you think that the CDC would be on top of it? Even if they themselves didn't isolate it, if anybody in the world would have actually isolated this virus, the CDC wouldn't know about it. And they would say, look, here it is. They've isolated it. We checked their work. It's all good. Boom, isolated. Nope, not available. To this day, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, not available. Never been isolated to this very day. And if you think it is, if you claim it is, burden of proof is on you. Why don't you go tell me and show me where it's been isolated? Let me also add the nail in the coffin here. As of July 13th, when the CDC and the FDA published this paper, what was happening in the vaccine industry? Weren't they already working on a vaccine? If they were, how do you propose they were doing that? Since at that time, the virus still had not been isolated. What were they making a vaccine for? How would they know that their vaccine even worked? How would they know anything about how their vaccine worked if they couldn't even show anything to actually compare it to? Since they don't have an actual the actual virus at that time, number one, what's the PCR test gauging? Number two, how dare you try to make a vaccine when you don't even have the thing that you're vaccinating against at that time? Further, Further, I got a video on my channel. If you go back a couple of months, back to July, I published a video where an actual news broadcast went out on TV in July, highlighting a man who was already in human trial for a vaccine for the Rona. And they said that he had received the second of 2 shots, 4 months apart. So he got his first shot 4 months ago. You can do math, right? That's March. He got his first round of trial vaccine, human trial, in March. I'm sorry, when did they declare a pandemic again? Oh, that's right. It was, what was it, late February, early March, right? They just declared a pandemic, just barely declared a pandemic, and already they got human trial for a vaccine. Now, fair enough, it was a news broadcast. And we all know the news is full of shit. I hope we all know this. Nevertheless, my video highlights a couple of things. One, that the news story was probably bullshit. Number 2, if it was true, then that's very curious that they've already got human trials in March, which, if I remember correctly, is before July 13th, when they still haven't shown a viral isolate. So maybe you could explain all those things to me. Because even the supposed Moderna and Pfizer vaccines that are right now being just about to roll out, 90%, 95% effective, they say, in November? Do you think they were working on it before July? You know, before July 13th, when the CDC says we don't have the isolate. So how the hell were they working on a vaccine? Burden of proof is on you. If you say there's a virus, prove it. I dare you. I double dog dare you. See ya.